when we recognize the most of people who we are interacting or who we are talking with. So I think we can choose the words and we can choose the story to reaction with them, to react with them.
Yeah, of course, you're right. And how are everyday moods, of course, factor? Yeah, we talked about this one. Well, so how a salesperson can respond to customer mood effectively? For example, okay, yeah, it's better to recognize.
Yeah.
And to know how, okay, for example, how they feel now, or for example, today or if day. So that's really important because it uh, definitely affects your shopping. Like, if they want to buy something, if I can sell something. But here,
Yeah.
do you think we can do something as sale people? For example, can we do something, how we can respond to this actually customer's mood?
Yeah, I think yeah, I think some seller they some seller that firms or company they launch some event in the last day of the month, or because at that time the people they get a salary from their company, so they feel be happy, so easy to make decision to buy something from
Of
the
course.
supermarket. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
So
Yeah,
think
you're
sale,
right.
sale person they can recognize and they can offer some uh, some goods or product to the customer
Ah,
at the time.
of course. Yeah, of course. Yeah, you're right. Just, when, yeah, especially when, but actually we have, on the other hand, we have
Mm,
the end of the
yeah,
month. So it's like, people don't tend to buy anything and they're angry. Like,
yeah,
they really want to. Yeah, of course. And sometimes we go shopping and some
yeah,
people are really smart. So
yeah,
I actually have a friend that is really interesting because uh, he's really different. Why
yeah,
different? Like, at the beginning, of course, everyone. So when we receive our payments, or for example, we have money, we go shopping, we do what we want. But he doesn't. He
yeah,
doesn't do anything at all. Just, save. And I'm like, okay, why do you save up? Okay, just buy at the end of the month. I
yeah,
have no money. And I'm like, oh, and he starts shopping. And he says that that is a really good way to motivate yourself because this is the end of the month. I'm really tired. And of course, it's like, I'm waiting for the next month for my payment, for my salary. And now I can go shopping to change my mood. And I'm like, how
yeah,
smart you are. Because of course, at that time I have no money. So sometimes he said, okay, let's go out and do something. I'm like, okay, I have no money to go out. So it's okay. It's on me. So that is
yeah,
really good. So I
yeah,
think, yeah, you're right. So people's mood, but how you can actually change your mood, how you can make the right decision, and of course, manage your money, your finance, and then you can have enough money. And of course, it definitely and straightly affect your mood. So that's really good. Yeah. So my
yeah,
friend is really smart,
yeah.
but it's difficult.
Yeah, it really difficult and it may take long time to change the mood of someone else.
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah, but I think there are a lot of ideas to change the mood. But for example, when we into the shop, so maybe maybe they should the shop build the highest customer experience.
Definitely.
For example, when you step into the shop, you will hear some romantic song,
Of
or,
course, of
uh,
course.
or
Yeah,
you may feel good smell,
yeah, of
right? Yeah,
course, of course.
and you can see in the wall, or in the bill billboard, you can see some content make you feel better. So I think, yeah, when you feel when you feel happy, and when you feel good mood, maybe they will
Definitely yes.
offer you
Definitely yes.
some product.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I do agree with you. So, sometimes you enter somewhere, just, and actually you're willing to buy something, but because of, I don't know, the environment,
yeah,
you just, of course, you feel like, just, no, I don't want to buy anything. It's just let's live here. On the other hand, so you don't
yeah,
want to buy anything, just, you just get a sound music perfect, and I don't know, just like really pleasant.
yeah,
Okay, yeah, of course, center smell that, yeah, and you enter and then you buy. So that is really, and not every, just I can say that not everyone, or not every company or brand, or for example owner knows it. So it's like that,
yeah,
yeah, okay, this is really unique store. And even salespeople, I think the most important. So
yeah,
some of them, yeah, I think they play really important role. So when you enter and you see someone with smiling, it happened to me. And I
yeah,
can say that, yeah, it's happened to me for many times. So I
yeah,
entered somewhere and I was like, okay, who is that? I don't want to buy anything, just, but when you see someone, when you come across someone with smiling face,
yeah,
happy, and
yeah,
actually this energy make
yeah,
you buy something,
yeah,
even if you don't want, and you pay
yes,
more.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Try to make the positive feeling
yeah, of course.
for
So
the customer.
yeah, of
Sometimes
course.
they can build the customer journey in the shop. For example, the first thing they see in when uh, the first thing customers can see when they go into the shop, maybe a small thing to make they quickly decision make decision.
Definitely yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so after
definitely yes.
the
Of
the,
course.
the, the more expensive
Yeah,
product.
of course.
Yeah,
Yeah, of course, and we easily pay. Yeah, of course, I do
yeah,
agree. Well, let me say something before we keep going with our actually topic, smell,
yeah,
and we have another word that is scent. But
yeah,
what is, yeah, of course, but let's talk about these two words. So what is the difference between smell and
mm,
scent of the store? For
mm,
example, first of all, when you say smell, okay, smell refer to just pleasant or unpleasant, or so a smell can be unpleasant. But
mm,
scent, okay, is really pleasant smell. For example, you can say that the scent of the store is really inviting. It invites you, come in, like this. So here, it's like just sometimes smell you, well, you know that, for example, okay, it's just disgusting smell, so you can say. But
yeah,
when you say, yeah, of course, uh then you can use smell. So if it's not good, for example, oh, the smell of the store is not very pleasant, I don't want to enter.
mm,
Okay,
mm,
but when you are talking about something inviting, scent is very good. The scent of the store is so inviting. So it means I want to enter because it's so pleasant. Yeah.
mm,
So this is the difference between these two. Well, now let's watch the video again and answer this question according to the video. The
yeah,
first part of the interview with Nancy Puccinelli, and number topics A to Z in the order she talks about them.
mm,
Okay, one moment. Just,
yeah.
yeah. I'm trying to just, it takes a few seconds to find the video again. So I
Oh,
think this one, yes, of course. Sorry. Okay,
yeah.
because I need to check the videos.
For example,
I think this one is. Just let me check if you have another one. Okay.
finding that we're just, perhaps there's a television might affect consumer decision making.
Okay, I think this one is, we have 3 videos. Okay, this one is. Wow.
So in terms of how mood might affect consumer decision making, we know a few different things. We know that, there is always sort of an undercurrent of how we feel, right? And that's something that is affecting our decisions all the time. We're anxious because we're afraid we're going to miss our train. We're feeling maybe a little down in the dumps because we're, say, tired, lack of sleep. And those effects kind of run along a continuum where we also have emotional states where you feel very strong, visceral emotional states that have really dramatic effects on how we're perceiving and how we're interacting with our environments. And so it's sort of interesting to see this. And we know that people will use how they feel to make decisions. So as we think about the role of the salesperson in understanding consumer moods, actually, there's some really interesting insights there. Actually, in some of my own work, we've looked at this, where we know that some people are really good at reading the moods of other people. They just have an innate ability, it seems, to sort of be able to look at someone and detect, oh, they're really anxious, or oh, they're really happy. And that some of the research I've done suggests that in a service context, either a retail environment or a restaurant environment, that when salespeople can pick up on those subtle cues to how someone's feeling, that it has a very positive impact on the consumer. So I'll give you an example. If you can imagine that you're rushing into a wine store on your way to a dinner party, you're actually already a few minutes late, but you know that you have to bring that obligatory bottle of wine, otherwise the host will be very disappointed. So you rush into this wine store and you find perhaps a salesperson who really wants to go on and on about the different regions of wine that they carry and the different calibers of wine that they offer. And you're thinking, I simply need a bottle of wine that won't embarrass me, that's within sort of a reasonable price range. Can we move this along a bit? In contrast, if that salesperson in that wine shop had instead been able to look at you and detect that anxiety, the anxiety of being late and not also wanting to be embarrassed, that they might have been able to respond to that and said, right, yes, as a salesperson, I do have a lot of knowledge that is valuable to some consumers. But this consumer, I don't think wants all of that information. And instead, I'd be much better off sort of perhaps identifying a bottle of wine in a reasonable price range that looks nice, that they can kind of, we can sort of process quickly and get on their way. So yes, I think the salesperson has a really important opportunity. There is an important opportunity in these customer-facing roles to be able to pick up on the cues of the customer and respond to them.
Well, so let's see. Okay, in the order. Okay, one moment. Let me share the board to show you. Yes, one moment. Okay, you can see the board now. Well, so A or B or C, which one comes first?
The second one falls.
Definitely, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. How our everyday moods affect our decision making as consumers? And the next one?
The third one.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, how some people are good at recognizing it. And the last one. Yeah, let me actually, she mentioned really interesting point. So let me ask you, because I've experienced. So this, you go somewhere, you want to buy something you really into. So for example, I remember that just, I didn't know, you just see a bag and you're like, you just head over heels in love with that bag. You want to buy it, you enter. And this is my experience. When a salesperson start explaining about the origin, explaining, for example, material, talking a lot about the product, definitely that product is expensive. Do you agree? Like, for example, I say, oh, normally they have tags, so you don't need to ask about the price, okay? But if there is no tag, or sometimes, for example, they're in sale, and so they actually like, they change and they have discount like this. So you want to ask only if you ask one simple question and they start talking, giving reason that, wow, this is really perfect product. This is really good choice. And like, maybe a best-selling product, definitely is expensive. First, do you agree with this?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, of course.
you can you may find it in the essential of the shop, and it's easy to see and easy. It make you feel that it's very luxury product in the store. So yeah, so you can see in the that position. So I think it's maybe expensive more over all the product in the shop.
Yeah, definitely. And unfortunately, so we have another, so except for, I don't know, the time that you really need to rush because you have to do something, and you can't wait, and they start talking. Yeah, of course, you want to buy, I don't know, a bottle of wine. Most of people have no idea about, for example, the origin. So just they want to have something good. Okay, let me take something good. And they start talking, giving lots of, that's perfect. What your dad is really good. But if I ask you, perfect. Like, okay, if I ask you what's the difference between this, and you can say, but when I know what I want, or even I have no idea about what you're talking about, so it's better not to say. So because actually it makes, that salesperson just exhausted, tired after a long time. Well, and let me ask you another question. Actually, the reason that why I discussed this is that it's expensive. We know. I ask you for example, the price. You start talking and just, I don't know, elaborating, just explaining again and again, talking about the origin. And then at the end, you give the price. Or no, directly give the price. So what is better way? When someone asks, especially when you are sure that your product is perfect. So which one is better? First explain, then give the price, or no, directly give the price?
I think the first explain about the product. So I think if in Vietnam I will explain and I will talk about the product, but I don't let them know price. And if they want to further detail more information, or if it may feel like the product, Vietnamese they will ask price. So if they ask price, I will give them, and I will talk about the product. I think maybe it's easy to sell
convince them. To convince them to buy.
But because I think in that situation I see the product very good, but when seller they said that they let me know the product maybe it's make me a little bit feel expensive, but when I add them maybe I feel comfortable. Maybe yeah, I'm not sure because I am not a
Yeah,
seller.
yeah, of
Yeah,
course. But let me actually, this is a tip, business
yeah,
tip. That is, yeah, most of people believe that it's better, especially when it comes to an expensive one. It's
yeah,
better to,
yeah,
yeah, just let's explain, let's convince them to buy
yeah,
something, but it's better not to do it. If
yeah.
you are sure, if you're
Mm,
sure about, yeah, the quality of your product, you don't need to explain. So this is expensive, but this price is this expensive, okay,
yeah,
price is appropriate and is reasonable price for this product because of its value. So I don't need to explain. When I start explaining, it means I'm afraid. I'm
yeah,
not sure. I want to convince you. It's like,
yeah,
I say, okay, please buy it because it's good. It's
mm,
good because of the quality, because of something, all the factors. This is more expensive than the other items, so it's
yeah,
better
yeah,
not to, of course,
yeah,
explain a lot. So
mm,
exactly the same thing that you see in, for example, brand stores. Like
yeah,
when you go something, it's you want to buy something, I don't know, it's a perfume.
mm,
So just this is the perfume. Okay, you can buy it.
mm,
No extra explanation, nothing about it. Okay, let me try it. Let me, for
mm,
example, smell
yeah,
it.
yeah,
No. So it's
yeah,
like, yeah, this is one that we have and it's expensive. If you want to buy it. Even some brands, so you know that, for example, you nowadays, we purchase and we buy everything online most of the time, most of people,
yes,
because of busy schedules. You don't try. You have
yeah,
no idea and they don't explain. So it's like,
yeah,
okay, I remember that I want to buy something. It was actually yeah, a bag and
mm,
a good brand and I wanted to buy. So I sent an email because I
yeah,
had a question. So I
mm,
had a question about that I couldn't find that question, my answer and actually information. So
mm,
I decided to email before buying because it was really important to me, especially because I really wanted to, have my laptop, to carry my laptop everywhere.
yeah,
So I needed to ask about the zipper. Okay,
mm,
so I sent an email and I remember that after 2 weeks,
mm-hmm, mm,
I received an email and they, of course, they explained, but so if I really wanted to buy, I would wait. So if
mm-hmm,
no, this is a
mm,
brand, so you can, because they are sure. So a tip,
mm,
maybe it's not true, but yeah, it's a tip.
yeah.
Well,
And you
and yeah,
yeah, where you often buys online, Amazon, right?
yeah, of course. So it's like not, no, it was not from Amazon. No, that was a website. Actually,
Uh-huh.
I normally, when I want to buy something, so
Mm,
I don't go out because I have no time to go shopping. Just I would
yeah.
prefer to, yeah, shop online. So it's
Mm,
like I normally buy from the websites.
mm,
So, and not only Amazon, of course, some
mm,
products from Amazon, but sometimes when it comes especially to brand, I would prefer to buy from their own website.
mm-hmm,
So
yeah.
yeah, of course. And then, so I can
Yeah.
email
So,
normally. Yeah.
in the e-commerce, they easy to change price, and you may make some A/B testing for some customer. For example, when they segment you in a group, easy to make decision, or you can afford to for the premium item, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I am not I am not like some premium. So
Ah,
yeah, I had to buy it in a high price, in only one product, but they call it in different name. For example, for you, that pen may product luxury pen, but
yep.
I then they will label this pen with um, no more massive massive product, for example. So they in a product they sell with two different prices.
Definitely, yes, of
True.
course.
Yeah.
Yeah, their policies, yeah, of course, definitely, yes. So actually labels and tags.
Yeah.
So whatever they are, they can easily, yeah, you can see the same product. So just, okay, they are the same. As you said, the only just, just take a tag. And because actually it was specialized for someone, or for example, yeah, you need to pay more. But if you're not, of course, you can easily buy something. Yeah, we have the same. But, on the other hand, I think we have some advantages. So when you buy directly, so of course I talk about just support, especially customer support, when you directly buy something from their own website, or for example own store. So of course I think it's better, but yes, the price can be different, but it depends. I think it depends. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. Well, and now let's watch the video again, answer these questions. Okay. What undercurrent affects our decision making all the time? Why? So let's answer, why might we be down and dumb, and what can have dramatic effects on how we're perceiving and interacting with our environments? In our example of the wine store, what mistake does the salesperson make? And if the salesperson had noticed the customer anxiety, how should they have responded? So that is, yeah, let's watch it, and then we will talk about these questions again. So let's watch it. Can you see? Okay, you can see the word now.
So in terms of how mood might affect consumer decision making, we know a few different things. We know that there is always sort of an undercurrent of how we feel, right? And that's something that is affecting our decisions all the time. We're anxious because we're afraid we're going to miss our train. We're feeling maybe a little down in the dumps because we're, say, tired, lack of sleep. And those effects kind of run along a continuum where we also have emotional states where you feel very strong, visceral, emotional states that have really dramatic effects on how we're perceiving and how we're interacting with our environments. And so it's sort of interesting to see this. And we know that people will use how they feel to make decisions. So as we think about the role of the salesperson in understanding consumer moods, actually, there's some really interesting insights there. Actually, in some of my own work, we've looked at this, where we know that some people are really good at reading the moods of other people. They just have an innate ability, it seems, to sort of be able to look at someone and detect, oh, they're really anxious, or oh, they're really happy. And that some of the research I've done suggests that in a service context, either a retail environment or a restaurant environment, that when salespeople can pick up on those subtle cues to how someone's feeling, that it has a very positive impact on the consumer. So I'll give you an example. If you can imagine that you're rushing into a wine store on your way to a dinner party, you're actually already a few minutes late. But you know that you have to bring that obligatory bottle of wine, otherwise the host will be very disappointed. So you rush into this wine store and you find perhaps a salesperson who really wants to go on and on about the different regions of wine that they carry and the different calibers of wine that they offer. And you're thinking, I simply need a bottle of wine that won't embarrass me, that's within sort of a reasonable price range. Can we move this along a bit? In contrast, if that salesperson in that wine shop had instead been able to look at you and detect that anxiety, the anxiety of being late and not also wanting to be embarrassed, that they might have been able to respond to that and said, right, yes, as a salesperson, I do have a lot of knowledge that is valuable to some consumers. But this consumer, I don't think wants all of that information. And instead, I'd be much better off sort of perhaps identifying a bottle of wine in a reasonable price range that looks nice, that they can kind of, we can sort of process quickly and get on their way. So yes, I think the salesperson has a really important opportunity. There is an important opportunity in these customer-facing roles to be able to pick up on the cues of the customer and respond to them.
Well, okay, so let me share the board again. Okay, well.
I think we should move on one by one.
Okay. Okay, I will.
Yeah.
I will help. So, what on the current affects her decision making all the time? The beginning of her speech. So she said, what?
Yeah.
What? Yeah, of course, an undercurrent of how we feel. They have something like just insight from, of how we feel. So she said, so this is about our emotion. So what undercurrent? So of course, undercurrent of how we feel. Do you remember? And why might, okay, so why we might,
I have a question. The undercurrent, that means the emotion of customer, right?
So what? Undercurrent, it's like, as we discussed before, like, for example, when you have, I don't know, just, a feeling about someone, so you understand, of course, undercurrent, and yes. So it's like, a hidden feeling.
I mean, it's emotion of people, right? Undercurrent is emotion.
It's not emotion, like, it's not emotion. So you mean, if I want to give you a synonym, okay, it's like a hidden force. You know what I mean? For example, I don't know, just on the current is like, a hidden just feeling, okay? Yeah, this way. It's a little different, okay? For example, because when you say emotion, for example, it can be, I don't know, undercurrent of tension. Here we have undercurrent of feeling.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, well, and so what undercurrent? Like, of course, undercurrent of how we feel. It's like hidden, just, like influence, it's not obvious, but yes, there is something here, okay? And why might we be down in the dump? Down is an idiom that means sad. Why? She said, because sometimes we are, I don't know. She said tired. You remember? Yeah. Or maybe she said suffering from lack of sleep. So I don't know. Yeah, I didn't have enough sleep last night, so I'm not in mood now. So because of this, I'm a little bit depressed, sad. Okay, so this is the meaning of it. So I give you the answers and then you can watch and then you can check them, okay? What can have dramatic effects on how we are perceiving and interacting with our environments?
She said that a situation that when people, the sale explain about the product, but they can make a feeling to compare with another product and another sale, right?
Of course, it's like emotional state. Yeah, definitely. Yes, of course. Emotional state. Yeah, very good. And in her example of the wine store, what mistake does the salesperson make? She said.
That means the sale cannot explain clear about the product, and they didn't try, right?
No, actually, as according to the video, as she said, like talking too much. Oh, let me say something because she used this. Yeah, it's really good to know. Yeah, of course, go on and on. She said go on and on. It means talking or doing something just for a long time. So go on and on. So you can use this a lot. It means talking a long time or too much. Talking or doing something for a long time. So what is this? Because you actually need to rush. Okay, of course, you've already been late, so now you can't wait more. Now, talking too much, explaining too much is not good idea. So the mistake was giving too much information and taking up too much time. Yeah? Of course. So it's like, you need to, as a salesperson, you need to, as she said, you need to read the situation. Yeah. And then, of course, if needed, why not? But when you can see this anxiety in my face, I need to go and I'm talking too fast. So you can easily understand that I need to go. So it's better not to. Yeah. This is the problem. And if the salesperson had noticed the customer's anxiety, how should they have responded? The last part, do you remember?
No, I didn't catch that.
She said, be quickly, be quickly selecting, just, an appropriate, bottle of wine, just be quick. That actually, that looks good, acceptable, and reasonable price. This is when you see this anxiety first, okay, because the prices, okay, just show me, this one is good choice for you. Acceptable price, and good quality, for example, a good, appropriate bottle of wine, just this. Don't take my time, just, for explaining too much. Okay, so now you have the answers. Okay, I want you to watch again and try to match. Okay, try to hear these phrases. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, of course.
What next we do?
So now, if you want, because you said that we need to watch to actually get, if you want, of course, you can watch it again too. Yeah. Try to hear the phrases that I gave you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you see?
Yeah, I see.
So in terms of how mood might affect consumer decision making, we know a few different things. We know that there is always sort of an undercurrent of how we feel, right? And that's something that is affecting our decisions all the time. We're anxious because we're afraid we're going to miss our train. We're feeling maybe a little down in the dumps because we're, say, tired, lack of sleep. And those effects kind of run along a continuum where we also have emotional states where you feel very strong, visceral, emotional states that have really dramatic effects on how we're perceiving and how we're interacting with our environments. And so it's sort of interesting to see this. And we know that people will use how they feel to make decisions. So as we think about the role of the salesperson in understanding consumer moods, actually, there's some really interesting insights there. Actually, in some of my own work, we've looked at this, where we know that some people are really good at reading the moods of other people. They just have an innate ability, it seems, to sort of be able to look at someone and detect, oh, they're really anxious, or oh, they're really happy. And that some of the research I've done suggests that in a service context, either a retail environment or a restaurant environment, that when salespeople can pick up on those subtle cues to how someone's feeling, that it has a very positive impact on the consumer. So I'll give you an example. If you can imagine that you're rushing into a wine store on your way to a dinner party. You're actually already a few minutes late, but you know that you have to bring that obligatory bottle of wine. Otherwise, the host will be very disappointed. So you rush into this wine store, and you find perhaps a salesperson who really wants to go on and on about the different regions of wine that they carry and the different calibers of wine that they offer. And you're thinking, I simply need a bottle of wine that won't embarrass me, that's within sort of a reasonable price range. Can we move this along a bit? In contrast, if that salesperson in that wine shop had instead been able to look at you and detect that anxiety, the anxiety of being late and not also wanting to be embarrassed, that they might have been able to respond to that and said, right, yes, as a salesperson, I do have a lot of knowledge that is valuable to some consumers. But this consumer, I don't think wants all of that information. And instead, I'd be much better off sort of perhaps identifying a bottle of wine in a reasonable price range that looks nice, that they can kind of, we can sort of process quickly and get on their way. So yes, I think the salesperson has a really important opportunity. There is an important opportunity in these customer-facing roles to be able to pick up on the cues of the customer and respond to them.
Wow. And yeah, so you could hear, and now let me give you a good phrase, this one, because she used pick up on subtle cues. Okay, so let me write it here.
Yeah.
Pick up on subtle cues. That is really good one. Okay, what does it mean? Actually, when someone can pick up on subtle cues means they can notice, they can understand, okay, a really small, maybe just emotion, just indirect sign, just that undercurrent feeling, like, it's not that spoken, but you can understand. So for example, she can pick up on subtle cues, and that is really important from people. That is really important as a salesperson to be able to pick up on subtle cues. So if someone, okay, I feel like that I can understand if she's sad, if she's happy. So yeah, of course. So you can use this one, and it means that the ability to notice, okay, indirect signs or maybe hints or signals. Some people, they have some that convey just feeling, emotion, person's emotion. Yeah. Well, and now let's keep going. Again, now watch the second part of the interview with Nancy and check your, okay, so what is this? In the next part of interview, Nancy comments on the best position to show the price. Oh, to show that I like this one. Before you watch, look at the advert for Visit Rank and circle where you think the best position, okay, for the price. Oh, really? So which one is the best? You can see the price, but where? I say the best one is
in the bottom.
Bottom, you say at the bottom. I say, I don't know, maybe I think here.
Yeah.
So
maybe.
yeah, of course, maybe. Let's see. Okay, let's see. That is really interesting. I really want to know. So the second part. Okay. Okay, one moment. I think this one.
A finding that we're just working on at the moment that we're hoping to publish soon is one of those instances where I thought, right, there's no way that this affects consumer judgments, and lo and behold, it does. And this paper looks at the position of a price. So if you can imagine looking at an ad, and perhaps there's a television being promoted, and you've got some information about this television, and then of course there's a price that's listed on the ad, and it might be to the left or it might be to the right, right? And if you'd asked me, does the position of the price matter? I probably would have said, no, I don't think so. And in fact, we looked at advertising practices across the board, across industries, and we looked at electronics retailers, we looked at discount retailers, and we found that they're pretty much all over the map in terms of how they promote price. Sometimes it's on the left, sometimes it's on the right, even within the same company. But we thought it would be interesting to look at this empirically and see if it made a difference. And what we found was that it does, otherwise I probably wouldn't be telling you the story. What we find is that we've got a default attentional system in the right hemisphere of our brains that controls attention. And it means that there's a disproportionate amount of attention that's focused on our left visual field. There's this very funny sort of crossover effect, not terribly relevant to business, but it does impact sort of how our brain impacts how we perceive things. And so we have this default attentional system that leads us to focus on the left visual field. And it's actually thought that's probably why most cultures read left to right. And if they don't read left to right, they process numbers left to right, they read music left to right. So might all come back to the same thing. And sure enough, when we put an ad on the face of a refrigerator in a convenience store for a refrigerated beverage, an iced tea product, when we put the price on the left, people wouldn't buy the product. And the thought was that here we're putting the price in that visual field that everybody looks at. We're putting it where people attend to. And so suddenly price is really, really salient. And you're sort of thinking, really, do I really need an iced tea? Gosh, I'm gonna, it's gonna set me back, £1.50 or $1.50. And maybe I should just pass. But if we put it on the right of the ad, same refrigerator case, same convenience store, but we put the price on the right, lo and behold, what we see is that people will buy that iced tea. They're more likely to buy the iced tea now that when the price is on the right than when it's on the left. And we've replicated it for Coca-Cola and some other beverages. We're very lucky we have an industry partner that runs a convenience store, and they've been very, very accommodating. But we've replicated it several times. So we find this effect, this default attentional system is leading to a bias towards the left visual field. And sometimes that would be a good thing. Maybe for an image of your product, that would be a good thing. But when it's price information, that seems to be negative, that the consumer will undervalue the product and they won't choose to buy the product, right? So some of the sales data that I just described reflect that.
That was really interesting. I've never thought about it. So, really? So everything has a reason. So why? Okay, so first of all, could you get?
Yeah, I heard that she said that in the better in the left, about left, right?
No, the best side is right side. Because actually, that was really interesting. The right-hand side, because the first thing, that actually it's like default system in your brain that you directly focus and of course pay attention to the left side. So this first thing that you see the price and you say that why I should buy it. But that was really interesting actually. So I like I had no idea about it. So sometimes I feel like why? The prices, for example, I don't know, sometimes this way, something that way, this side, that side. But
that means in the left side, it's priority for the unique selling point of the product, or show the information of the product in the left side, right?
Yeah, it's like, if you want me to see it, to pay attention, just put it on the left side. And the first thing that I see is the left. Because this is actually my brain function. This is the way that my brain, But if you don't want me, okay, so first let's see the product. Let's see, it's a good one. And then, okay, so let's put it on the right side. That is so tricky, but it's really good. And now let me see what we have more. Okay, just one moment. Let me share the book again. So here. So if you want to put the price on the product, please put it here on the right side. That is really good, especially when it's expensive. So put it here. Well, and now try, we're going to fill in the, okay.
I have a question.
Of course.
In the right side, we have three positions. From
on the right side, not for example, right? Okay, we have this is top, this is below. Of course. This is that is top right corner. This is top right corner. This is left right corner. This is right side. Okay. So I think directly here. So she didn't. I think. And it,
So you have mentioned that it's in low and high price and medium, right? And
no, in middle you mean the top or the bottom? No, she didn't. So I think when we say the right side, of course, maybe in business it's different, but let me say something. Actually, in direction, when giving direction, we have this. For example, when I have a map, okay, we have, for example, top right corner, that is here. If this this side is north, of course, so up, top right, and for example, we can say that left, but bottom, top and bottom, and of course, this is right side, right, left, okay, top right, bottom right, okay? So this is now, but I think this word, so because she didn't directly exactly mention just, if the top or the bottom, maybe we can put it, but the right side is here. Okay, this can be this word, okay. Well, and now try to remember the statement and to see if they're true or false. Okay, let's see before watching if you can guess or no. So the first one is, before the study, Professor Puccinelli expected the position of the price to make no difference. Is it true? Before the study. She expected that, position of the price to make no difference. Is it true or false? Before study. And after that, she studied and she figured out that no, of course it's different.
Before study, Professor expect the position of. But what is before study? That mean
before study is before study,
before study. No, I think it's different from position of price.
Okay, so let me say, when, that is pre-study. So no, it was true, actually, she said. So expected the position of the price to make no difference. Okay, so yes, it's true. According to the widows, yes, it's true. But, and after that,
why? Can you explain about?
Let me show you something. One moment, we have 3 months. I want to show you something. Wait a moment. It's better to see than talk. Okay. Listen.
A finding that we're just working on at the moment that we're hoping to publish soon is one of those instances where I thought, right, there's no way that this affects consumer judgments, and lo and behold, it does. And this paper looks at the position of a price. So
before study, I had I didn't think that actually it could affect, but actually it does. But actually it does.
If you can imagine looking at an ad, and perhaps there's a television being promoted, and you've got some information about this television, and then of course there's a price that's listed on the ad, and it might be to the left or it might be to the right.
So it's like, as you said, so now they're studying, they're searching something, they're doing something, but before it, she had no ideas to it, like definitely no, there is no effect, but now actually she has different opinion, get it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and now, we have only 2 minutes, so I think we should skip this one, but it's okay, the second one. Of course, we can skip this one because, we need to write true or false for the statement, so we need to discuss them again. So, it's a really interesting topic. I really liked it. So actually, I want to try to maybe find a video to watch about it because it's really interesting that why. So there's some reasons, maybe every word, every letter, everything in brands. And for example, advert has the reason behind it. So why? So we need to know, especially when it comes to business. Okay, so let's skip this part and we'll talk about it later again. So unfortunately, time's up and we need to go. Thanks for your time. Thank you for joining the class and have a great day.
Yeah, thank you and see you on next time.
Of course, see you. Goodbye.
Yeah, goodbye.
Goodbye.